Welcome back to JustBet Tv, the show where we break down the biggest football moments and give you the insights you need to make smarter bets. I'm Jordan Fort, and this week with me is
Siobhan O'Neill.
none other than, and this week we're focusing on the most exciting stage in club football. We're talking about Champions League round of 16, and I know Shav can't wait to start talking about that. But before that though, we want to look back at the top action from the week, and it was another big week in the EPL, Shav.
Yeah, man, $12 million in payout alone for EPL. That's crazy. The bettors them excited, money I make, everybody happy.
And I tell you what, it's going to get bigger, but we're going to look at the standout matches from the last week. And let me tell you something. Me and Darrow was here last week, Shav, and I'm sure you've seen the show.
Yes, I have.
Manchester City, Nottingham Forest. Nobody, I think, was predicting a 2-2 draw in that game. I predicted City to win. Darrow predicted City to win. I'm sure you were predicting City to win. But it just shows how, at this stage of the season, the EPL is unpredictable. Going back to that $12 million payout, I'm sure some people cash in on that feeling.
True.
Because some people would have been making the bold bets.
Right, that's
right.
correct.
So they may have cashed in on that. But City dropping points at this stage of the season, obviously, a good thing for me and my team, Arsenal. The question, though, is, has City's defensive frailties now become an issue, or defensive issues, I should say, because City really has the second best defensive record in the league.
True.
So we're calling it issues, but maybe we're making a big deal out of something that's not really such a big deal. Obviously, though, if you're in a title race, then these small margins start to make much more of a big difference.
True.
City trying to catch Arsenal. They still have a game in hand, mind you, but they're now 7 points behind Arsenal because Arsenal won at the weekend. Gonna talk about that. But also, obviously, City dropping 2 points. I don't think that City is a bad defensive team. Yes, they're not as good as Arsenal, but at the same time, as I said, when you look at this Arsenal team, it's really an outstanding defensive unit.
True.
May not be the marauding goal-scoring unit of past, but a solid, very, very good defensive outfit. And yes, City has been letting in goals in some games, even the ones that they're winning.
Yes.
And I think that's what people are probably looking at to say, boy, City have a few defensive issues, a bit of a concern.
I mean, they're not as clinical as they once was, especially defensively, because this time of the season is when they normally thrive. They don't give away anything. But now you can see where there's leaks in defense. Even though they're scoring goals, the defense has become a concern. So I would say it's definitely something to look at, because this can definitely affect your tickets going forward.
And then we have to talk about Newcastle and Manchester United. Now, I see you shaking your head already, Shav. We were here last week, of course, me and Darrow. Both of us predicted a United win over Newcastle. Obviously, your loyalties, Darrow loyalties, lie with Manchester United.
That's true.
Surprise, at the weekend, Newcastle, 10 men at that, in the end, right? Prevailing over a Manchester United team. I never really saw that coming.
No, never did. My prediction for that match was Manchester United to win by 2-0 clearly. But I got the surprise of a lifetime. Especially because Newcastle was down 10 men, I thought it was easy pickings. But unfortunately, the ball is round, and so is the results.
Yeah, well, not so round for Man U, right? But, it shows up the inconsistencies in the EPL from week to week. That's one. Michael Carrick had been perfect as a Manchester United manager up to that point. So it was the first time Manchester United was losing under the leadership of Michael Carrick. Of course, he's interim, but So they had the bounce, they had the momentum going in, but a lot of averages. But this is the EPL as well.
Unpredictable.
It's Newcastle. It's St. James's Park. By the way, we're going to talk more about Newcastle a little bit later in the show. We're talking about the Champions League.
Right.
But the point is, these results, they can sway either way, and especially when you have a situation where it's a Newcastle team that hasn't been doing so well. Point to prove, though. Point to prove. Right. United entered the top three the previous match day, but guess what? Brought back down to earth. Those are the realities of the English Premier League. Those are the realities of top flight football. And I mean, we're going to talk about the Champions League as well, because these are some of the realities of the Champions League. Things get tough.
True. And
it's hard to beat teams. Every team, no team can be discounted, as we saw in that Nottingham Forest Manchester City encounter. So we want to also talk about the Champions League, as I mentioned, right? Europe is where it's at. I have on your Real Madrid jersey, and we're going to be talking about Madrid in a little while. Now, obviously, the Champions League, we're talking about two-legged ties. and we're talking about winning on aggregate. The round of 16 is where it's at,
Right.
and a spot in the last 8, the quarterfinals, is on the line. This is where the big boys come to play. Of course, there's very little margin for error. So we want to start off by talking about the matches that were played on Tuesday. We saw some big results on Tuesday, right?
And some unpredictable results.
Unpredictable results. Speaking of which, Liverpool, Galatasaray.
Oh my gosh, Jordan. I don't know who got that prediction right, but I can say that it's about 5% of Jamaica. Because I anticipated Liverpool to dominate that game, and worst case, win or draw. But Galatasaray winning, that was a big shocker to me.
Yeah, it was a surprise result for Galatasaray to win 1-0, by the way. But the thing about it is that Liverpool, for as much as they have been, European powerhouses of late,
Right.
And of course have secured a Champions League in recent vintage, this season hasn't been their best. Of course, they're coming off the Premier League win, but not really a good title defense. And Premier League champions don't usually defend very well. City broke that curse.
That's true.
Under Pep Guardiola.
Fair.
But it's tough to go back to back like that.
Right.
Right. And we're seeing that on Liverpool now. Granted, I don't want to kind of overcomplicate this thing and overreact to a 1-0 loss. But at the same time, you weren't necessarily expecting that from a Liverpool. But guess what? You're away from home, Istanbul, Turkey, to travel,
place to play.
to play. It's going to be tough to play on a big Champions League European night like that away from home. At the same time, though, Liverpool at Anfield, is a different ballgame.
That's true. That's true. But Jordan, even though Liverpool lost and burst my ticket, it was a goal fest for all the other matches.
Yeah, it was. And we're going to talk about Newcastle, the same Newcastle we've been talking about, right? Because guess what? They went head-to-head with Barcelona again.
A round of applause for Newcastle. A round of applause.
That's a sarcastic applause for Newcastle?
No, I'm genuinely impressed because on my ticket, I had Barcelona to win by 3 goals.
Wow.
And now I'm seeing where it's a draw. And we can say for sure that it was favoritism for the Catalonians.
Well, I don't want to go that far. But the thing about it is that 3-goal advantage that you had for Barca over Newcastle, would probably be more applicable to Barcelona at home.
That's true, but
I would think.
yeah, but
Because,
talent speaks
again,
for itself though, Jordan.
No, they have more talent and they have a lot of attacking firepower. I agree
That's
with you.
it.
I agree with you. But at the same time, again, we talk about traveling on a big European night to play a team away from home. Always going to be tough. Newcastle is not a rollover team.
Right.
As much as, people might not necessarily respect Newcastle.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
in the class of a Barcelona.
True. That was my view on it as well.
And that's true. That is true. But at the same time, again, we have to go back to, the kind of tension, the kind of pressure that comes about in these kind of results, but in these kind of matchups. But the result, again, you alluded to it, almost went the other way.
Right.
Because it was almost a Newcastle win, over Barcelona, and Lamine Yamal got a penalty late in the game.
Late in the game. Big
Or
change.
converted a penalty late in the game, and it's now 1-1, which makes things different now going back to Barca. If they're going back trailing 1-0, different proposition. Now they're on level terms. So let's see what happens with that.
Yes.
And of course, as you say, maybe the bettors will decide to stick to their guns and go back with Barcelona again.
That would
I don't
definitely be my prediction.
Yeah.
But guess what? We talk about home advantage, but that didn't save Atalanta any at all. They got a thrashing. Jordan, Bayern Munich, 6-1. Trust me, I wouldn't come back for the second. I just call it a day.
Yeah, and I mean, can we say we're surprised? I don't really think so. Not with this one. We've been saying we're surprised. Not with maybe the number of goals, but you would expect Bayern Munich to have a comprehensive win over Atalanta. I was expecting 6-1. To be fair.
Well, I wasn't expecting 6-1,
But
especially.
maybe this is just a point where this is where the big boys come to play.
That's true. That's true.
And Bayern Munich is class.
Yeah.
Class,
I mean, they are stunning. They have great firepower in Harry Kane. They have Serge Gnabry. And I mean, the talent is endless. But as you said, they weren't at home, so I wasn't expecting such dominance. But I guess Italy is a place where you can go and dominate. It's not that rough of an environment. So, kudos to Bayern. I mean, we'll see what goes on in the second leg. but I expect something special again.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty for Atalanta. Trust me. Atletico Madrid and Tottenham Hotspur. Boy, oh boy, I tell you.
Boy,
Tottenham
oh
Hotspur
boy.
spiraling out of control.
Mhm.
Spiraling down the drain, I think,
Getting
because
a beating left, right, and center.
yeah, and I mean, obviously, it's a rival team to my team, North London rivals with Arsenal. But at the same time, I can't say I saw this coming.
No,
right?
no.
Because Tottenham, but the thing about it is that Tottenham really struggled in the English Premier League last season, but then they won the Europa League
Right.
against your
normally,
team,
they know.
Manchester United in the final.
Yes.
But they won that league. So now, by virtue of that, obviously being in the Champions League and progressing to this stage, you would think that okay, they're thinking probably the league that's gone. You know, it's too far gone.
The focus is
The
on
focus
the
is on
Champions League.
Europe. Boy,
Yeah.
if that was what the focus looked like,
No, it's not pretty for Tottenham any at all. In the first half, it was 4-1.
yeah,
Yeah, the game was over.
by the first half. And that's
So-
what keeps happening to them.
Yeah.
And then now they have instability with the coaches and hiring and firing and trying to get a new manager in. Now they're talking about letting go a manager who they only brought in a few games ago.
That's correct. But I mean, give them credit for actually scoring a goal. I mean, anything is possible in the Champions League. We've seen Barcelona do it, so maybe Tottenham can pull off a miracle.
Yeah,
it's not over until it's over.
You're right. They had 2 goals. So let's see what happens in the second leg as it relates to that. So the games for Wednesday now, that's what we want to switch our attention to. Hold on, when I reach your game yet. Reach your game yet. PSG Chelsea.
Ooh, listen to me. If you want goals, this is the match for it. PSG attacking, Chelsea attacking. Jordan, I don't see this going any other way than over 3 goals in the match. Who is going to win? I'll give it to PSG just because they're home, but this one is going to be a shocker.
It's a grudge match as well. PSG and Chelsea met in the Club World Cup final.
Right.
And Chelsea, surprisingly, got the victory over the European champions, PSG. PSG, though, it must be said, have not been the same force so far in the Champions League that they were last year. Now, to be fair, in the Champions League last year, it's not like they ran through the entire first round and then it was in the knockout stages that they really became dominant.
Alive. And that's
and no team could match them. So it might be a sign of things to come for this season again. They might be hitting their straps at the right time, this PSG team. Of course, Luis Enrique is a master, the manager. So let's see what happens. But Chelsea, with a point to prove, of course, they were in the English Premier League title race a little earlier on. Not so much now, things kind of slipping away from them. Their new manager trying to find their footing. I think I'll agree with you that I'll give PSG the edge. But again, you said over 3 goals. As a neutral, I'd love to see that. Lots of goals. The question is, though, does PSG's attacking firepower give them the advantage? Or does Chelsea, their defensive discipline, can they steal a result away from home?
In a match like this, Jordan, I don't think the discipline will help Chelsea. I think that there's too much firepower coming from PSG. And as I say, it's a grudge match. I know Luis Enrique, and he loves revenge. He's going for the jugular, I'm telling you. In the first half, I think that there's going to be that victory to PSG. They're going to win the first half, and anything goes in the second. That's my prediction there for that match.
Next up, Bayer Leverkusen versus Arsenal. The thing about it is that obviously Leverkusen, is not the Leverkusen from the days of when Xabi Alonso was there and kind of ran through everything in Germany and then was really good in Europe and then advanced to, of course, the Champions League. No, they're a slightly different Leverkusen outfit. Don't have that kind of, fear factor anymore.
Right. They don't have that any at all.
Arsenal, on the other hand, have been driving fear into all opposition in the Champions League. Perfect win record for Mikel Arteta's side in the group stages. But again, that was a group stage. Right? This is real deal now. This is knockout.
Round of 16, different ball.
Yeah, man. 2 matches, 2 legs, aggregate score. So it's a different ball game. Pressure is going to be there. But at the same time, and again, everybody already know I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm not wearing my Arsenal shirt today. But at the same time, I just don't see how you can go any other way than predicting Arsenal to win this one.
Yeah, and as much as it kills me to say it, Arsenal are the favourites, and I don't see Arsenal losing this one. Bayer Leverkusen has been inconsistent, while on the other hand, Arsenal have been consistent and grinding out results. It only can go one way, Jordan, and I can surely attest to that one. That one is definitely on my ticket. I don't know about you, but Arsenal to win, definitely.
Yeah, no surprises for me there either. That's definitely where I'd go. Arsenal to win. Not necessarily predicting a high-scoring game necessarily. It's Arsenal playing away.
Right.
So those factors can play into it. But definitely I'd go Arsenal to win. And I know this is the one that Shav want to talk about. This is the one that everybody looking forward to. People have even said, listen, UEFA, we get bored. Real Madrid versus Man City, we keep getting this clash every year. But, I mean, I'm not going to say it was fixed. But, I mean, at the same time, if it was, good job.
Right.
Because everybody wants to see a blockbuster matchup, even this early. When I say early, I mean these two teams are teams that could easily meet in the final.
Right, that's correct.
So, but at the round of 16 stage, you still want something that the neutral can really lock into, and Real Madrid versus Manchester City is that match. And guess what? Shaw, if you're a neutral, this is a match that you should like historically.
Right.
Because there should be goals.
Should be goals. It's going to be a blockbuster. And this is what we call a goal rush moment, people. Listen to me. Anything over 3.5 is a safe bet. I know that Real Madrid is coming gunning. Pep Guardiola has something to prove. Trust me, it's going to be goals galore. Who will win though? That's the question. But one thing we can count on is goals for that match.
Yeah, the question is, will Manchester City's dominance and tactical control overcome Real Madrid's Champions League magic, or Madrid will once again rise to the occasion on the European stage? Because sometimes, as much as City, Guardiola, he's a tactician, he's a specialist on big occasions, but Real Madrid just always have this knack of just coming up big in Champions League out of nowhere, even if they're not playing well domestically, which they are this season. Yeah. But they just have this knack of just coming up big in Champions League encounters. I think Carlo Ancelotti really built that kind of a reputation. Obviously, it's not Carlo Ancelotti at the helm anymore. The question is, Real Madrid with I would say, they're not as clinical as they once were. Yeah. Again, though, they tend to find ways to win. But it must also be said that Guardiola's City, in my opinion, and I said this last week, is really a team in transition. I mean, yes, you still do have the big names, and of course, Erling Haaland is probably the biggest of them all, a goal-scoring machine up front. But at the same time, you look other areas of the pitch for City, there are issues. We talked about whether defensively, that has become an issue for them. I think in midfield, you have somebody like a star potential like a Ryan Cherky, who has turned up big for them this season. But at the same time, there's still this adjustment period, going into English Premier League from another league and adjusting to the pace of England, and then playing tough games in England and then playing these tough European clashes can really, really weigh on the minds of these players playing for Manchester City. And then, of course, they're coming off that 2-2 draw with Forest, which nobody expected them to drop points there. Pep Guardiola will be firing up his troops, right?
I know that.
He doesn't like to have disappointing results back to back. So this is going to be a big game for City, for Real Madrid. I think City, goals galore. Probably, I would say, does it tilt a little bit towards Manchester City? Maybe I would kind of tilt that way, but if you can hear the hesitation in my voice, it's because it's so hard to pick.
No, it's one of the hardest predictions to make. The only thing that we are sure about is goals, but you have to look at it. Real Madrid is a Champions League powerhouse, one of the most successful teams ever in that competition. The most. So you can't rule them out. As much as how we'd like to give Manchester City the edge, Jordan, we have to look at history, and they come alive in the Champions League.
Yeah. The odds for this one, City favorites slightly. At the time of recording, by the way, these odds, because the odds are obviously subject to change. So City at $2, Real Madrid at $3.25, and the draw at $3.66.
Still very good odds.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be the devil's advocate and go for a draw on my ticket. What about you?
I would go for a draw. I don't just it's a safe bet, but as you say, you're really looking at goals, right?
Right, that's correct.
Yeah. So To be honest, I see 4 goals or more being scored in this game.
I agree.
Yeah, I see it being like a 2-all or a 3-2 either way. That's how I see this game going. As I said last week, all of us or both of us can sit down here and chat all we want, but obviously the JustBet expert Chris is here, and Shav, you're going to be talking to him, and
That's
he's
right.
going to be helping people how you build your ticket, right? What are the things you need to look for? What are the little tips that you need to know in terms of building that ticket, in terms of maximizing, in terms of maximizing your winnings? You know, what are the odds you need to look for? Are you betting on correct score? Are you doing goals? You know, so on and so forth. First half, win first half, so on and so forth. I'm sure you and Chris Shav will be sharing a lot more
inside scoop.
Indeed.
All right, guys, we're here with Chris, the mad scientist behind the result and the ticket making. Chris has about a 90% win rate when it comes on to JustBet and building tickets. But today is a special one. Chris will actually walk us through and explain what is a bet builder. All right, welcome, Chris.
Thank you for having me, man. Good to be here.
Yes, so give us some insight now. What is a bet builder?
Bet builder is a bettor's dream. Every bettor's dream. Bet builder, they spend $500, they can win $500. Big money.
Good.
Yeah, man, big money, man. All you need to do, you have 6 selections on a particular game. Anywhere you want to put it. Win, draw, goals, 2 teams to score, 1 team to score. You make big money.
Okay, so basically bet builder is us being able to select multiple options.
Multiple options on a particular game.
On a particular game.
As a matter of fact, it's 6 options max, 2 options minimum.
Okay, so as the expert, how many options would you suggest that we take?
I normally suggest to persons 3.
3?
Better options. Less chances, more chance to win.
Okay. All right, so Chris, so give us some insight. I know that there's a big match coming up with Real Madrid and Manchester City.
Oh, that blockbuster game.
Yes.
Yeah, man, that's a good game. That's a good one.
So do you have any bet builder insight on that one for us?
Yeah, man. All right, so Real Madrid kind of stuttering recently at home. Man City winning at home, away from home, scoring goals. Real Madrid scoring goals, but both teams actually allowing goals. This is my safest bet. Real Madrid, Man City, both teams to score. In JustBet, we have that as GG. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. Fans can go out there, bet, you must collect.
You heard it from the genius himself. So that's the prediction for the Man City and Real Madrid game as it relates to a bet builder. So just like the Real Madrid and Man City bet builder with the big odds, we have one more special for you. We have the Chelsea and PSG bet builder, which Chris is guaranteed to give us some nice little earnings in our pocket. Chris, walk us through on that one.
For sure, they'll be earning a lot. Chelsea, PSG, can't keep a secret to save them life in football. However, both teams score a lot, equally them letting a lot of goals. Favorite tip, PSG, Chelsea, both teams to score and over 2 goals. Definitely you will collect also. To add a little bonus, Dembele will have a shot on target.
Hold on, Chris. So when you say Dembele have a shot on target, what do you mean? Give us some insight on that one.
Most persons, especially bettors, they confuse shot on target with a shot. For a shot on target, it must score or the keeper must make a save. If the keeper also, you can have a defender kicking the ball off the line. If that's not in play, it's not a shot on target.
Okay, so basically a shot on target is any shot from that specific player going towards goal on target.
On target.
Whether it's score or being saved by a player or keeper.
Exactly.
Well, Chris, thank you for that insight because a lot of persons would have that misconstrued.
No, definitely they do. We get a lot of calls about that, but persons are now getting in tune with it. So we'll definitely see that persons will bet more on this option going forward.
That's great. So you heard it here first, people. In the Chelsea PSG game, over 2.5, Dembele to kick a shot on target and both teams to score. So pair that with the Real Madrid bet builder and you're guaranteed to win some money. All right, so Chris, I mean, if I don't feel like doing a bet builder or any straight win and I want to test my luck or my good prediction skills and go to exact betting, what would you say if Arsenal was to win 1-0? What would that be like?
That would be a good odds. I think you would get $6.50 for that. And that is not even testing your luck. That is actually maximizing on your spending.
Wow, that's nice. And that's correct score. So if Arsenal wins 1-0, that is $6.50.
times whatever you spend.
Okay. I'm not good at
And as a
math,
money
you
woman, you probably buy it for $5,000. You never know.
Yeah, no, that's good money.
man.
But what are some other options that the bettors can choose? Because I may go on a limb and say 1-0, but what are some of your hot takes?
All right, for me, Arsenal very good. Leverkusen not so good. So I think playing away, Arsenal should win 2-1. And I see that as $6.66 we offered for that. That's and a very good odds that also.
And that's a very good
Yeah, man,
odds
very
also.
good.
But what if I want to be devil's advocate and say, what if Leverkusen win 1-0?
Oh, well, that would be a very good choice. You'd get $17 for that.
17.
Yeah, man, 17.
17. So I don't even have to spend big to earn
You just
big.
spend 5 bills.
No, that is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man.
I test my luck on that one. But let's take it a step further. Let's say Leverkusen doesn't win 1-0. What about a 2-1 victory, which is more realistic?
2-1, that is more realistic, but way more money. $35. we get.
$35.
$35.
Bettors, trust me, the exact score is where it's at. The odds are great, the odds are big. Spend less and earn more. You heard it here from Chris. It's a good investment. I know that you gave us multiple insight on betting, bet builder, exact score. But for the gamers out there who like to just go it predictable, give us a straight win ticket.
All right, so we're going to have some simple team. Easy win. Arsenal is the hottest team right now in Europe and the Premier League, so Arsenal will win. My surprise pick, though, is Bodo Glimt from Norway. They have been a giant killing team so far, and I see them winning at home. Actually, they're playing on the AstroTurf, so they will win at home. And Man City, I am seeing them as a little surprise. Even though it's a hard game, I think they'll just pick Real Madrid 2-1.
And those are your
Those are my straight win predictions.
Thank you so much, Chris, for that prediction.
Yeah, man.
Guys, Chris is hardly ever wrong in this. So money is out there to be won. Just follow Chris's prediction and trust me, you stand a good chance. But now we'll hear what Jordan has to say about this.
All right, Tashav. Now you know it is the time when they put us on the spot. It's time for the JustBet Challenge. We are going to make our predictions on the upcoming matches. And next week, we're going to laugh.
Yeah.
Because we're probably going to get half of them wrong. Just the nature of sports, just the nature of European football.
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable. All right, let's start off. Leverkusen versus Arsenal. You want to go first? You want to go first?
Arsenal winning 2-0.
All right, I'm going to say Arsenal winning 3-1. As an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, I can work with that one.
We have Bodo Glimt versus Sporting Lisbon.
2 attacking teams. I'm just gonna go over 2 goals just to be safe.
Over 2 goals.
Right.
I'm gonna say Bodo Glimt wins this one 4-2. Yeah.
That's a brave prediction.
Yeah. 6 goals. 6 goals. PSG versus Chelsea.
PSG winning 3-1.
PSG 3-1.
PSG winning 3-1.
Interesting. I'm going to agree with you that PSG will win. I'm going to say PSG wins 2-1. Then I say 2-1 PSG. Yeah. Then I say
Okay.
2-1 PSG.
Okay, that's a fair prediction, but I think it would be definitely 4 goals in that match, and it won't be a draw.
Oh, okay. All right. I hear you. And the big one, Real Madrid hosted Manchester City. Blockbuster. You're willing to call a winner?
No, I'm gonna put my neck on the block and say 2-2.
2-2.
Yeah.
I think I said that earlier that I could easily see it being a 2-2 game or a 3-2 either way. I am going to be bold and say Real Madrid win this one 3-2.
That's a very good prediction. So,
Yeah, so you can put that on your tickets, all right? One of your tickets.
before we wrap up, let's talk about the Goal Rush promotion.
Yeah. Big promotion, this Gold Rush promotion. And guess what? The biggest prize is the VIP football experience in New York.
New York.
Can you imagine that, Shav?
I can. I really can.
Sitting in VIP, watching 2 big sides battle it out in New York, one of the biggest cities in the world.
And that's not even the best part. Free accommodation, spending money, and travel fare You can't get no better than that.
Can't get no better than that. But how do you win? $2,500 or more you must spend on a bet, and then you have to enter by visiting gorush.justbetja.com. Simple
And
as
it's as
that.
simple as that. And also remember, you have to have a valid visa in order to be eligible to win. I mean, it's New York. Can't go there on a boat.
Yeah, you have to have a US visa, people. Plus, plenty other prizes today. If you don't win that VIP experience, you're talking about a PS5.
Are you talking about an iPhone?
Come on. How do you top that?
There's no losers here.
Yeah.
Trust me. And personally, I don't mind the PS5 in a Jordan.
All right, I will take the VIP football experience and you take the PS5.
yeah, I'll take the PS5. Nothing wrong with that one.
All right, so that's a wrap, people. That's a wrap for this week's episode of JustBet TV, your go-to spot for sports betting insights, match previews, whole heap of debates. Me and Shav, other people, you might see pop in, whole heap of debates. Remember to be smart and stay informed. If you have a hot take or a winning bet, drop it in the comments, and we might feature that bet on the show. Until next week, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Shav.
And this has been JustBet TV, your game, your passion. Next week.